Hey there everybody, Matt Carter here.
And Jessica Carter from CARTERMATT.com.
This video is our take on The Voice results that just wrapped up a handful of minutes ago. We now know the top 8. We have reached the calm before the storm, aka next week when the Red Voice wedding happens and they get rid of half the show.
Yep.
Raise your hand if you hate that they do this. It's like, come on, guys, can't you just, eliminate people at a more steady pace throughout the season rather than, chop half the people? Like, what if somebody has a bad night next week and then they get home because of one bad performance?
Yeah, no, I agree. It's intense.
It's really intense. Next week is the most stressful week for me on The Voice, even more so than the finale, because, only one person wins, but... you get 4 people in the finale. But anyway, I'll save my ranting for that for next week. We're going to talk in this video about the eliminations tonight. Yep. Joanna Martinez, Shane Q have both said peace out to the show. Jess is sad about Joanna's exit. And we'll also kind of go through, was this the right bottom 3? And also... without even hearing the performances next week, we're going to kind of give out our own Final Fours. But before we do anything, if you like this video, give us a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any other updates. So, the bottom 3, I should say, were Shane, Joanna, and Mary Beth Bird.
Yep.
Let's talk about the wider field, though. Let's say you have the power to replace someone in the bottom 3. Who are you taking out and who are you putting in?
Oh, I'm taking out Joanna. She shouldn't have been there. And
okay, no surprise there.
She was in my top. If I had my top 4, she would have been in that. Her voice is incredible. And anyways, I would have taken her out, and I probably would have put in Kat. I'm not connecting with her, and I'm not connecting with her voice. There's something that's just not there for me yet.
And I think Kat did not have a good performance last night. I mean, the more that I've kind of thought about it over the past 24 hours, it was just a bad choice of song. It didn't suit her voice. It felt like it wasn't right for her age-wise. There's so many reasons why that did not work.
Yeah.
But there's one reason why Kat, beyond Kat's own fans, and that is, it is the Team Blake factor rearing its head once more.
Absolutely.
It's just... 'tis the way of watching The Voice. We all have known this many, many times over the years. All right, I went back and forth on it because I'm not the huge Joanna fan that you are, but
I know it.
But I don't think she was bad by any means yesterday. I thought she was pretty solid. And
I thought her performance was really solid, and I even enjoyed her performance tonight to a song that I hate.
We will get into that, but yeah, I think I would take out Mary Beth because I feel like I'm trying to think cumulatively here. I think Mary Beth has been very good, and I would probably put, and this may be controversial in some ways, I would probably put Hella Sunday in because I feel like they have these moments of brilliance, but then they also have these moments where the pitch is really, really off and they're not singing in tandem well, and it's just they're too raw for me for this show right now. This is one of the reasons why I'm not actually for the age limit being what it is. I kind of wish they would tell younger singers sometimes, you know what, you're very, very good, you have a lot of talent, but in a couple of years you're going to be even more incredible. So come back then, because there's no The Voice All-Stars. There's no chance for them to come back.
It's true, and I agree with the age limit a little bit as well, and I know that in some ways takes away certain people that would have not had an opportunity otherwise. But even as much as I love Joanna, and I do, and I love her voice, like I just said, she sang a song I hate, and I still was like, man, this is so good. If you're going to be on The Voice, you need to have more than just a voice. There has to be something about you that connects with people, that is dynamic, that is charismatic, that gets people to want to come and root for you. And while Joanna seems like she's very nice, it didn't feel like there was enough there to get people to come out and vote, for people to make that connection, be like, yeah, I feel that, or I feel her, kind of thing. You have to be more than just a voice. That's why we have people like Katie, who has an incredible voice, and an amazing style, and she's charismatic, and that whole story that John Legend gave about the person coming up in Target being like, man, I really love Katie.
Yeah.
It's that character and that feel to connect with somebody that Joanna was missing.
Yeah, and I mean, if we're just before even getting into the performances, if we just diagnose why these people were there, I think you're pretty on point with Joanna. I think she was also kind of stuck in the middle of the show at a period of time where maybe people were going up and getting a snack, and maybe they just forgot about her at the end. Mary Beth performed pretty early in the show with a performance that, while kind of current, wasn't her best connectivity-wise. Shane has been in the bottom before. No surprise there.
Yeah, and his performance with Caribbean Queen was not good, and it just didn't fit. It felt very loungy, kind of wedding singer. I was not connecting with it, and I felt the same thing tonight, and I haven't always felt that with him, but I have these past two performances.
It just feels like sometimes this happens with people where you get into the bottom, and you know, The Voice history has kind of shown over time that if you need to be saved at some point, you're probably not making it to the finale.
Yeah.
And so I kind of feel like maybe on some level that just sort of got to him. I think Caribbean Queen was probably the worst performance last night, and I think Killing Me Softly, it was the worst of the three that happened tonight. I think
it was interesting because Kelly actually said something that I think she meant as a compliment. I know she meant it as a compliment, but but when she said it, I felt it that it was his downfall. She said that he's all over the place, and what she meant by that was that he was able to do this kind of song and this kind of genre and here and there and everywhere, and that's not always a great thing, and it didn't work for Shane. He can't do everything. He can do some stuff, but he can't do Caribbean Queen, and he couldn't do Killing Me Softly.
I just feel like he didn't have enough of a lane as to where exactly he was going to sort of drive his car over this past week or so on the show, and I think it kind of showed. It just felt like his confidence was shaky. I think his vocals were shaky. I think the song was actually not a terrible song for him. It was a better song than Caribbean Queen was for him. It just didn't work.
The Caribbean Queen is not a good song for anybody.
Really.
It's too difficult. Because no matter what you do with that song, you sound like you're at karaoke.
I think that's another problem with The Voice, that they don't really allow for a lot of like creative arrangements. If you're going up there and doing a straight up cover of Caribbean Queen, it's going to sound karaoke. I think like 99% of the time it happens.
Yeah, it needs to be a different arrangement that makes it exciting and fun and something you just haven't heard before that fits for Shane, and it didn't. So I was not surprised to see Shane down there. I was not surprised to see Shane go home. I was surprised to see Joanna go home because I thought she had the best performance tonight. But at the same time, there's just that connection that I think people weren't feeling with her.
And I actually like somebody that I used to know more as a song than you do. So I was kind of amped up for that. I was like, okay, this is a song I've heard a lot of times that I like reasonably well. And she did sing it very well. I mean, there wasn't really anything about her take on it that was necessarily different than any other take I've heard on it before. But, I mean, I think a problem with this song is that it has such a very precise melody. And it's kind of a slower song, but you're actually kind of singing kind of fast. And so it doesn't really give you a lot of room to do like a lot of runs or anything else.
Yep.
So I think she did a good job with the song that she had here. And I definitely don't think it was bad. And that is why, you know, I would have been okay if we could just find somebody else to be in the bottom three and then they could go rather than Shane. I would have been fine if Joanna made it another week.
I would have been happy to see her go all the way to the end in the top four.
Yes. Well, this is the thing. It's like, Mary Beth, congratulations on making it to the top 8.
Absolutely.
You're probably not making it to the finale. And I'm not trying to be mean. It's just that's the way the show works like 95% of the time, where, you know, it's a good chance for her to come out and do something even bigger next time. I mean, I will admit I am a huge Callum Scott fan. I love his album. By the way, Callum Scott does sing more than one song all singing shows. I mean, You Are the Reason is not even one of the 3 best songs on this album, and yet for some reason it's the only one anyone does. But
maybe it's the only one they can get rights to.
I don't know. But I do think Mary Beth did a very nice job with this song. I think she hit the notes well. I think I felt more of a connection tonight than I did to what she did on this past episode.
Yeah, me too. I agree with that.
Yeah, and that's what made Mary Beth appealing to me from the jump this season was I felt like she was versatile. I felt like she could do a number of different things. And I also felt like I kind of understood who she was. And it felt like, I don't know if yesterday she tried to force something that wasn't her too much, or she just wasn't feeling the song or the performance in that moment, but it didn't really fully work.
Yeah.
This worked for me, and I would say it's not significantly to me. I would say she was maybe about 5 to 10% better than Joanna in my mind.
I disagree. I think that Joanna was better than Mary Beth. However, I do think that it was close.
I do think it was close. I would not be screaming mad if Joanna ended up coming forward to the next round based on what I heard tonight. I think cumulatively, Mary Beth has been a little bit better. I would say like 15 to 20%, but I do think it was close tonight, and I think Mary Beth's going to get another chance. I don't know if it's going to matter, but you can get more fans. Like, that's really the reality here of The Voice. None of these people are probably going to be superstars anyway.
No, probably not. So The Voice doesn't seem to really produce a lot of superstars.
No, so just, build your audience, take chances, and stand out so that people remember you after the fact so that they want to go and, listen to you on YouTube or buy your album or support you in any sort of way.
Yeah.
That's why I'm surprised people don't take more chances on The Voice in general. But let's look now towards next week, because we do have a nice population of people still in the competition. We have 8 people. So, presuming that we'll have a finale with 4, which is typically the case,
yeah,
we're going to try to go through and name our individual 4 people. Do you have a final 4 in mind?
I do have a final 4 in mind. My final 4 are...
Okay.
Rose. I love Rose. I think that her performance yesterday especially was just outstanding. I want to see Katie there. I know I'm going to see Katie there. I have no doubt that Katie is going to be there. Will, I feel that Will is going to be there. I can't see a Final 4 that he is not there. And the other person that I see being there is Jake. I love his voice. I said this yesterday. I'm not a country fan. I don't like country music at all, but I think his voice is smooth. I really like it. He's going to turn me around.
See, I said this yesterday. I am jaded, and I am going through like country music on The Voice recovery at the moment, where I've heard so much of it that I just like curl in on myself sometimes. I'm
trying to just focus on their voices, because like I said, I hate that song that Joanna did tonight, but her voice is so beautiful that I can overlook a song that I cannot stand and hear the beauty in that voice. And I don't hate country music. It's just not my thing. I've never really gotten into it. I'm from Toronto. There's not a lot of country music going on in Toronto, so maybe I just haven't been exposed to it. My parents are hippies, so, that's what I was listening to growing up. But Jake is somebody that I think his voice is really nice.
I do think Jake's voice is good, and, I kind of half joke about the amount of country music on The Voice, because it does get, like, overkill sometimes, but, Jake shouldn't be penalized for everyone else. No,
but I do think that Ricky will end up being in the 4. That's just my final 4 of who I would like to see there.
Well, and my final 4 is pretty similar to yours. I have Katie, who I think is overall the best, and I think should probably win. I have Will, who would be my runner-up. I have, after that point, I have Rose and I have Ricky. And I think to me, the real...
I think they are the 4 that are the lock. I would switch out Ricky with Jake. I really like him. But, I also really like Joanna, and she's going home tonight, so what do I know?
Well, I'm going to tell you my fear, because this is what I think may actually end up happening, to the disappointment of us both. I I foresee a world where Rose does not make the finale.
That's not no.
I don't want that to happen. It's just the press.
Can't you warn me to put my hard hat
Well,
on when
I'm
you're
sorry.
telling me these things?
I'm trying to. I have to just be the bearer of bad news sometimes. I've seen what can happen sometimes on The Voice
It's true.
late in the season. I mean, it's happened to a number of minority contestants in general, where you have kind of a lot of very similar artists at the end of a lot of seasons. And I'm not penalizing, anyone else in the competition, but I want to see Rose there, but I'm worried about her. I could see a scenario where both Will, Jake, and then you could go ahead and put in Katie and Will there as well. Did I say Will twice? I may have said Will twice. But
That's because we know how much you love
I do love Will.
You were on the Will train.
But Jake, Ricky, Will, Katie, I could see that very well being the final four. This is the interesting thing, though. I feel like there are 5 really, really good contenders for 4 spots.
Yeah, that's true. Yes, there is.
And, Hello Sunday's had a good run. I think Kat, she'll get support from Team Blake and from her fans. I don't know if it's going to be enough. And Mary Beth is probably not going anywhere based on tonight. But that's kind of where I see it going. But we'll see. And, of course, I want to know from you guys, who do you want to see in the Final Four on The Voice? And what did you think about tonight's eliminations? Let us know in the comments. And if you like this video, give us a like, subscribe, and if you want to support us more, just check out the link in the description to the CARTERMATT store, and we'll see you here next time.